Crank. High Voltage is not like any other action movie. It's fast, it's loud, it's wild. Every second is packed with energy. You won't want to blink. The story picks up right after the first Crank movie. You do not need to watch the first one to understand this one, but it helps. The movie throws you straight into the action. Right away, you can feel the speed. The movie moves fast, and so does the main character. The camera spins, shakes, and zooms. The music pumps up your heart. This is not a movie for quiet nights. It's a wild ride from start to finish. Buckle up, because Chev is back and anything can happen. Chev is the main hero of Crank, High Voltage, and he's not your average action star. He's the kind of guy who seems to have been built for chaos, thriving in the middle of mayhem. Chev is tough, so tough that nothing seems to slow him down, not even the wildest, most dangerous situations. He's fearless, charging headfirst into trouble without a second thought. Whether he's being chased, shot at, or thrown into impossible scenarios, Chev never backs down. He's the ultimate survivor, always pushing forward no matter what stands in his way. He never gives up, even when things get absolutely crazy. In fact, the crazier things get, the more determined Chev becomes. He's the kind of hero who thrives on adrenaline, using every ounce of energy to outrun danger and outsmart his enemies. When the world turns upside down, Chev just runs faster, dodges harder, and fights with even more intensity. He's relentless, always finding a way to keep moving, no matter how impossible the odds may seem. Jason Statham brings Chev to life with an electrifying performance. Statham's energy is off the charts, he talks fast, moves even faster, and never lets up for a second. Chev is a man who doesn't have time to stop and think. He's always in motion, always reacting to the next threat. His mind works as quickly as his fists, and he's constantly making split-second decisions that keep him one step ahead of danger. Statham's portrayal makes Chev feel real, raw, and incredibly intense, drawing you into every wild moment. Chev often uses his fists to solve problems, and he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He can take a hit, sometimes several, and still keep going, barely missing a beat. Every fight scene is a showcase of his resilience and raw power. He's not just a brawler, he's a survivor using whatever he can find to defend himself and take down his enemies. Whether he's outnumbered or outgunned, Chev's determination and toughness always shine through. In this movie, Chev is in even more danger than ever before. The stakes are higher, the threats are deadlier, and the clock is always ticking. But through it all, Chev keeps his cool. He faces every new challenge with a calm, almost unbreakable resolve. Even when the odds are stacked against him, he never lets fear take over. Instead, he channels that pressure into action, staying focused and determined no matter how intense things get. Chev is smart in his own way. He might not be a genius in the traditional sense, but he's a master of thinking on his feet. When he's cornered, he comes up with wild, unpredictable plans to save himself. His creativity in the face of danger is one of his greatest strengths. He's always looking for an angle, a way out, or a way to turn the tables on his enemies. Chev's quick thinking and resourcefulness make him a hero who's as clever as he is tough. Chev is not perfect. He makes mistakes, sometimes big ones. He stumbles, he falls, and he occasionally gets in over his head. But that's part of what makes him so compelling to watch. No matter how many times he slips up, he always finds a way to recover, to get back on his feet and keep fighting. His unpredictability keeps you on the edge of your seat, never quite sure what he'll do next. Every misstep just adds to the excitement, making his victories feel even more earned. Chev is the kind of hero you can't help but cheer for, even when he's doing something completely outrageous. His wild stunts and fearless attitude make him a crowd favorite, both in the world of the movie and for everyone watching at home. Whether he's pulling off a death-defying leap or taking on a room full of enemies, Chev's boldness inspires those around him. He's the ultimate action hero, flawed, fearless, and always ready for the next challenge. Watching Chev in action is a thrill ride from start to finish, and it's impossible not to root for him every step of the way. The movie starts with big trouble for Chev. He falls from a helicopter and somehow survives, but the danger is not over. A group of gangsters finds him and takes him away. Chev wakes up in a dark room. He is weak and confused. He learns that his heart has been stolen. The gangsters have replaced it with an artificial heart. This heart runs on batteries and needs electricity to work. If the battery runs out, Chev will die. He needs to recharge his heart every few minutes. This means getting shocked or finding power fast. This problem makes everything harder. Chev can't rest. He must keep moving, keep fighting, and keep charging up his heart, no matter what. Chev knows he must act fast. He escapes from the gangsters as soon as he can. He needs to find his real heart and get it back, but he has almost no time. To stay alive, Chev does anything to get electricity. He grabs car batteries, he shoves his fingers into power outlets. At one point he even uses a taser on himself. Each shock keeps him going a little longer. Chev runs through the city leaving chaos everywhere. He fights anyone who gets in his way. He jumps, crashes, and crashes again. His get power or die problem leads to some wild scenes. Each one is crazier than the last. Chev never stops moving. The action never slows down in Crank. High voltage. From the very first frame, the movie throws you into a relentless whirlwind of chaos. Chev Chelios, the unstoppable anti-hero, is always on the move, whether he's sprinting through crowded city streets, brawling with thugs in back alleys, or crashing through windows in a desperate bid to stay alive. Every moment is packed with adrenaline, and there's barely a second to catch your breath as Chev fights his way through one insane situation after another. The movie is absolutely packed with massive fight scenes and high-speed car chases that keep your heart pounding. Cars screech around corners, motorcycles weave dangerously through traffic, and police vehicles join the pursuit, turning the city into a chaotic battleground. Each chase is more outrageous than the last, with Chev leaping from moving vehicles, dodging bullets, and causing mayhem wherever he goes. One unforgettable scene takes place at a bustling horse racetrack. In the middle of a crowded event, Chev finds himself surrounded by a gang of thugs. With the crowd watching in shock and disbelief, he launches into a wild fight, using anything he can get his hands on, chairs, railings, even betting slips, to fend off his attackers. The chaos spills out onto the track, with security guards scrambling to restore order as the audience gasps and cheers. As the fight escalates, panic erupts. People scream and scatter in every direction, some diving for cover while others try to capture the madness on their phones. The entire event descends into chaos, with horses rearing and alarms blaring in the background. It's a perfect example of how Crank, High Voltage turns even the most ordinary locations into explosive action set pieces. Another wild and unforgettable moment happens at a massive power plant. Chev, desperate to recharge his failing heart, climbs up a towering electrical structure, risking his life as he scales higher and higher. The tension builds as he navigates the dangerous framework, with sparks flying and workers below shouting in alarm. It's a heart-stopping stunt that pushes the limits of what you'd expect from an action movie. When Chev finally grabs hold of the high-voltage wires, the electricity surges through his body in a spectacular display. He's blasted into the air, lightning crackling all around him as the raw power sends him flying. The scene is both shocking and visually stunning, capturing the over-the-top energy that defines the entire film. It's all so exaggerated and outrageous that you can't help but laugh. The movie knows exactly how ridiculous it is, and it leans into the comedy with wild stunts and unexpected gags. Whether it's Chev's deadpan reactions or the sheer absurdity of the situations, Crank, High Voltage delivers action that's as funny as it is thrilling. The film doesn't hold back on the spectacle. There are explosive car crashes, intense shootouts in the middle of busy streets, and daredevil stunts that defy belief. Chev jumps from moving cars, dodges gunfire, and causes chaos wherever he goes. Every action sequence is bigger, louder, and crazier than the last, making it impossible to look away. One of the most entertaining aspects of the movie is how Chev uses anything and everything as a weapon. Whether it's a fire extinguisher, a pool cue, or even a kitchen utensil, he turns ordinary objects into tools of destruction. The creativity in the fight choreography keeps things fresh and unpredictable, as you never know what Chev will grab next. If there's a way to smash, shock, or blow something up, Chev will find it. He's a one-man wrecking crew, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. Every scene is packed with energy, humor, and jaw-dropping stunts, making Crank, High Voltage a non-stop thrill ride from start to finish. Chev is not alone in this story. As he races through the city, he finds himself surrounded by a whirlwind of people, some who want to help him, and others who are determined to bring him down. The streets are alive with tension, and every corner holds a new surprise. In this chaotic world, alliances shift quickly, and Chev never really knows who he can trust. Some strangers step in to lend a hand, risking their own safety, while others see Chev as nothing more than an obstacle in their path, or a target for their own ambitions. Along the way, Chev crosses paths with both familiar faces and total strangers. Old friends from his past resurface, sometimes offering support, sometimes holding grudges. At the same time, new enemies emerge, people who have their own reasons for wanting to stop him. The city becomes a maze of encounters, with every handshake potentially hiding a knife behind the back, and every standoff threatening to explode into violence. Chev's journey is as much about navigating these relationships as it is about survival. One of the most unexpected reunions is with Eve, his girlfriend. She thought she'd lost Chev for good, so when she sees him alive, her shock is impossible to hide. Their reunion is emotional, filled with disbelief, relief, and a flood of questions. For Eve, seeing Chev again is like witnessing a ghost come back to life, and she's swept up in the chaos before she even has time to process what's happening. Despite the danger, Eve doesn't hesitate to jump in and help Chev. She quickly becomes his partner in this wild chase, dodging threats and helping him escape from one close call after another. Together, they race through the city, relying on each other's instincts and courage. Their partnership is tested by every new obstacle, but Eve proves she's just as tough and resourceful as Chev. Even in the middle of all the chaos, Chev and Eve manage to find moments of humor and sweetness. Their banter and playful teasing bring a sense of lightness to the story, reminding us that even in the darkest times, there's room for laughter and love. These scenes show the depth of their connection and give Chev a reason to keep fighting. Then there's Doc Miles, the eccentric and unpredictable doctor who becomes Chev's unlikely ally. Doc Miles is the only one who truly understands the seriousness of Chev's heart problem, and his wild personality makes every interaction memorable. He's a whirlwind of energy, spouting medical jargon and unconventional advice, all while trying to keep Chev alive against impossible odds. But trusting Doc Miles isn't always easy. His methods are unorthodox, and his motives aren't always clear. Sometimes his advice seems more dangerous than helpful, leaving Chev to wonder if he's being set up or genuinely helped. Still, in a world full of enemies, Doc Miles is one of the few people Chev can turn to, even if it means taking some big risks. Of course, Chev's journey is filled with danger at every turn. He faces off against a relentless group of villains, each one more determined than the last to take him down. These aren't just random thugs, they're organized, ruthless, and willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want. The main antagonists are the gangsters who stole Chev's heart. Literally. They're powerful, connected, and have no intention of letting Chev get it back. Their network stretches across the city, making it nearly impossible for Chev to find a safe place to hide. But the gangsters aren't the only ones after him. There are others. People from Chev's past who want revenge for old scores, and new enemies who see an opportunity to settle their own grudges. The city becomes a battleground, with Chev caught in the middle of multiple vendettas. And then there are the innocent bystanders, ordinary people who get swept up in the chaos simply because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. As Chev's wild journey unfolds, the line between friend and foe blurs, and the city itself becomes a character in his story, full of surprises, dangers, and unexpected allies. Just when you think you know what will happen, the movie surprises you. Crank, High Voltage is full of twists. Plans go wrong and new dangers just keep popping up. At one point, Chev gets captured again and is forced to fight in this really strange TV show. Everything is wild and unpredictable. There are some pretty funny moments too. Chev does things no one else would even dare to try. He shocks himself in crazy ways, and at one point he even runs through the city in some really strange outfits. The ending is just as wild as the rest. Chev's final battle is epic and completely over the top. Seriously, you never know what will happen next. This movie is different from most action films. It is fast, loud, and just totally over the top. The camera work is wild, with lots of close-ups and fast cuts. The story is simple, but the action is honestly pretty wild. Chev's need for electricity brings new twists to every scene, and you never really know what he will do next. The movie is not afraid to be silly. It mixes action with comedy and wild ideas. It does not try to be realistic at all. It just wants to entertain. Crank High Voltage is kind of like a video game. Every level is crazier than the last. If you like action and surprises, this movie is definitely for you. Crank High Voltage is bold and stylish, the colors are bright, and the music is loud. The camera never sits still, so everything feels crazy and alive. The movie does not take itself too seriously. It knows it is wild and fun, and honestly, that's what makes it special. Every moment is made to shock and surprise you. If you want a movie that feels like a roller coaster, you should watch this one. It is fast, funny, and never boring. Jason Statham gives it all as Chev Chelios. So, hey, grab some popcorn and get ready for a wild ride. Crank High Voltage is action at its craziest. You just have to see it to believe it.